How's it going, Reef Keepers? Some of you had expressed that you liked my rockscape and had asked how I achieved it, or what I used for it. So I just figured I would walk through, what I wanted to do with this rockscape. So when I created this rockscape, I had a few things in mind, a few priorities. One, I knew I wanted to use Marco Premium rock. I love Marco rock, just the pure white stuff, the dry rock. None of the like painted purple and pink stuff. I don't like that. I wanted to earn the purple and pink hues that come with coral and algae from success in the tank. So all that's natural coloration. Two, I wanted tons of water flow under the scape so that detritus couldn't settle. So I wanted like no flat pieces of rock laying in the sand. That is how you create a nitrate factory, phosphate factory. Three, I wanted to make sure that there was a ton of room to swim around the scape for the fish in both the front, back, and sides. And then last, I wanted, of course, tons of surface area for coral placement. And as a result of all these goals, I actually ended up achieving one goal that wasn't even, really a thought or a consideration, and that is I have just a ton of rock, which means more biological filtration, more natural bacterial colonization, real estate. And I think that's good. I think that the negative space aquascaping and the spindly kind of art project looking tanks, as cool as those can look, and as much as you can create other filtration methods to catch up for the lack of biological filtration, I just was like, I want this to kind of appear like a real reef and have some real reef functions, like a ton of biological filtration. So I do think the appearance looks more realistic, I guess, as realistic as you can get in a tank of this size, in a reef tank that's artificially maintained in a home in America, right? So anyhow, how I went about this was I took massive pieces of base rock and laid them all along the bottom, all right? Big chunks of it. And I kind of staggered them, like one in the back, one in the front, one in the back, one in the front, to create natural pathways underneath, both so that flow could get through there and so that the fish could easily swim and find caverns and, things like that. And then I took pieces of Marco shelf rock and I laid them, I just carefully selected them. And as you can see, I laid them at angles. Like that one slopes back, this one slopes forward, this one here's flat, this one slopes down this way, this one slopes down this way, this one's flat. And I liked the kind of sloping appearance, right? Like there's different angles to look at, and that's just aesthetically pleasing. Then I put in a couple support rocks. There's one here, one here, one here. And I took my most premium, aesthetically pleasing pieces of shelf rock that I received in my order from Bulk Reef Supply, and I put those most aesthetically pleasing pieces along the top. I created this bridge in the middle, which wasn't planned, it just worked out. And, I just put some more unique looking pieces that had, attractive characteristics to them as my top of my scape so that I could put all of my SPS coral all along the top of the scape and have it be relatively flat and all visible. And it worked out wonderfully. So I get tons of flow. It's super clean underneath, just white sand underneath there. The fish all have their own spot to hide in and escape to. They can swim around the back of the scape very easily, and water flow also comes down the back of the scape and keeps it clean back there, so the sand doesn't muck up, or I don't get an algae outbreak that I can't really treat because it's too far in the back and I can't reach it effectively. And I think that the biological filtration works very well. I've only had like one serious algae outbreak in the course of having this tank. So I think it's been doing a pretty darn good job. And you guys seem to find it attractive, and that's great. That's what I'm going for. People who come over to the house seem to think it's attractive. So of course you want that attractiveness factor. But I didn't want an attractive scape at the expense of it, not looking quite like a real reef in some ways, or not serving multiple functions to keep the tank clean and keep the fish happy, and provide enough coral space. That's why I didn't do the chic thing in the hobby and go with the negative aquascape. It was never attractive to me. So anyhow, if you want to know more about how I achieved this scape, let me know. And I will say one last thing: I didn't use any glue. I just laid these things in place so that if I ever had to pull a rock, I could reasonably pull that rock and not worry about huge hunks of the scape needing to be chiseled apart. I didn't want to use any glue. So this is a totally non-glued scape. No epoxy, no glue, no nothing. So again, if it's interesting to you how I did it and you want to know more, I'm happy to talk to you about it. If you want more content, like and subscribe. Thanks, guys.